Hey everybody, Barry at CTech. I want to talk about a topic today to help you get the best bang for the buck when negotiating on a vehicle. There's going to be some dealers that are probably not going to be super happy that I'm going to put this video out there, but it kind of is what it is because the good dealers are actually going to appreciate what I'm about to tell you. Good dealers, as an example, Mark Dodge, Ram, down in Louisiana. These guys are going to appreciate this because they like educated customers. Here's what I mean. If you want to get a good deal, if you want the best bang for the buck, and it doesn't matter, this is even bigger than cars, go in it educated. The slimy dealerships can't stand an educated customer because they know when you come in, you know the product, you know the color, you know the discounts, you know the rebates. There's nothing they can do besides give you a monthly payment or tell you an out-the-door price. And even the dirtier dealers, they don't even want to talk out-the-door pricing because that's also an area to cover some things up. So let's get into this. Number one, first thing, if you're in the market to buy a car, truck, vehicle, doesn't matter what it is, get yourself a few options that you could be really happy with. Ideally, multiple brands. As an example, this vehicle I'm in right here, our Lincoln Navigator. When the time came, we're in the market to buy one of these things, I had 4 different options I would have been happy with, and some of them were not even direct competitors vehicle size. I had the Cadillac Escalade, I had the Lincoln Navigator, I had the Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro, and there was another one I can't think of, but it wasn't even a full-size SUV. It was a mid-size SUV. But I had a price point for each one of these vehicles that made sense for me of picking up a certified pre-owned. I wasn't interested at that time of buying new, so I was looking specifically at getting a used vehicle. For me, this is just me, when I'm looking to buy a used vehicle, I won't touch a vehicle that's been in an accident. I've seen, working the automotive industry, when a vehicle gets in a collision, the amount of stress that it puts on a chassis, in your engine bay, in your drivetrain, in your suspension, the whole vehicle just gets tweaked. I don't want to deal with this. Every one of my friends that have bought vehicles that have been in accidents have had all kinds of weird issues down the road. Not interested. Okay, so when I'm looking, I automatically look for a clean Carfax. If you're talking to dealerships, make sure you get a Carfax. This sounds simple, but a lot of people still don't ask for this stuff. Secondly, this is nothing against my Canadian friends. I love you guys and thanks for watching the channel. Me personally, I don't like purchasing vehicles that were originally in Canada or spent some time in Canada for a few reasons. I've noticed that something about some of the areas in Canada, not all, they use some sort of form of salt on their roads that is just extremely harsh on vehicle bodies, the undercarriage, the axles, and man, I've seen 1, 2, 3-year-old vehicles that just have a tremendous amount of rust in the undercarriage. And you can typically tell because dealerships know this and they'll undercoat the crap out of a car that's like 2 years old, which shouldn't need that, that's weird, or it's rusted up like mad. So that's first reason. Second reason, sometimes I've noticed Carfax doesn't send all of the vehicle history. It doesn't seem to transfer from Canada to the US. I've just noticed some little weird anomalies where service records and just some things don't show up. So you don't have that full level of traceability. Once you get past that, I've generally seen vehicles in Canada are really nice. And I find also, I feel like generally people in Canada take care of their stuff really well. Let's keep that in mind. But on negotiating, before you step foot in a dealership, I recommend pulling up their website and looking to see what is the vehicle they have in stock, not in transit, you can select sometimes, in stock. Look at the colors, look at the engines, look at the prices and stuff they show on their website, so you can know before you step in here, well, they're already showing all these discounts, and read the little fine lines and what is exclusions, read all this stuff up front, because once you get into a dealership, and dealerships know this, you're emotionally connected to the purchase. Once you see that beautiful, shiny, brand new or used car, whatever it is, in person, you're more emotionally connected to it. And once you're emotionally connected to it, you lose leverage in negotiating. So I recommend do your homework, looking at websites, looking at cars, walking through or driving through dealership lots after hours so that you can be in an unpressured scenario where you can see these vehicles firsthand and say, you know, I like this one, or maybe there's something I don't like about it. This is what I like to do at a dealership I'm not familiar with. After you've done all that homework and you've seen the dealership lot and after hours, and you've seen the vehicles on their websites, and you know what applicable rebates you have and what you can get, that's when what I like to do is I go on Google and I Google search the dealership I'm about to call and I look at their reviews. Generally speaking, if I don't see like a 4.5 star or above at that dealership, I then really dive into the details of the ratings, and I'll see newest ratings and I'll look for trends. If someone says, oh, they got a bunch of greasy, slimy salespeople, they screwed me and my family over, blah, 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 I steer clear of that dealership. Or if I see people complaining about service issues or whatever, or like what I've seen at a lot of other dealerships, I'll be looking at the reviews and I see a lot of great reviews, and they'll be like, oh, Anthony at this dealership is really great. He was kind, he's helpful, no BS, transparent with pricing. I'm like, that's the guy, I'm calling Anthony. Then I call the dealership and I specifically say, is Anthony available? If they say, no, Anthony's out today, but someone else is available, I stick to my guns and say, have him give me a call when he's available, because I've done my research and that's the salesperson I want to speak to. Now, this is all applicable if you don't know anybody at these dealerships. That's what I do. After you start this, believe it or not, the good salespeople are actually going to be appreciative that you already know the vehicle on their lot you like, you know the color you like, the motor you like, and you're familiar with the rebates, because you just take the issue away from time from them, and all they got to do is run the numbers and make sure all the applicable discounts and everything are good for you. That's what a good dealership will do. This is where you got to be real careful, and I find this is the hardest part of negotiating the out-the-door price. It's all the fees. Here's an example. I found generally in Michigan, dealers will do one of two things. You're going to pay like a $15 transfer fee if you already have a license plate from another vehicle, which most of the time I do. So you're going to pay this really small nominal fee, 15, 22 bucks. Then you're going to pay a title fee, another 15, 22 bucks. Then you're going to pay a documentation fee. Not all dealerships do this. Some of them bake it into the price of the vehicle that you're buying, but other vehicles actually separate this as a line item. That line item could be anywhere from, or that line item for a doc fee, I've seen as low as 40 bucks and I've seen as high as 300. Some of the dealerships that are a little bit, I've seen guys trying to hit people up for $500, $600, $700, $800. Okay, that's a line item. Then the next line item is going to probably be your plate fees. If you have to buy a new plate and you're not transferring, there might be several $100s of fees. Okay, so you add all this stuff up, plus your taxes. Oh, one other thing. Holy cow, this is super important. I had this happen in Indiana in 2012. I still remember this because I'm still not happy about it. I bought a Corvette Z06 from a dealership, Penske Chevrolet in Indianapolis. I'll still remember this, and I'm going to put the name out there because I still can't believe I got screwed on this deal. Don't let yourself get screwed like me. So I buy this Corvette. Let's just use round numbers and say the car was $50,000. All the fees, everything was straight up. The car was straight up, no games, until it came to taxes. Taxes are straightforward, right? I'm a Michigan resident. Taxes in Michigan are 6%. Well, taxes in Indiana are 7%. Well, 7% on 50 grand is $3,500. Yep. 6% is $3,000. We're doing the math at the end of this. I'm looking at the out the door. I'm like, we're off by $500. I'm looking and I'm like, oh, the taxes are wrong. You got 7% taxes here. He goes, I have to charge you 7% sales tax. I said, no. I said, doesn't Michigan and Indiana share reciprocity between state lines? You pay taxes. He goes, no, they don't. You have to pay the state. I went back and forth. They wouldn't do anything for me. He goes, you know what you can do? You can go back and talk to your Secretary of State and show what you paid in taxes, and they'll give you your $500 back. So I trusted the guy. I thought, you know, this is what it is. Well, I paid for this car had to go through the BS of going to our Secretary of State in Michigan. The state of Michigan said, dude, there's nothing we can do for you. The state of Indiana's got your taxes. We feel really bad, but that's not how it's supposed to be. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? They're like, learn from it. I don't think there's anything there is you can do. So I talked to a few different secretaries of states. I didn't fight it too hard. I went back to the dealership and told them this is dishonest. They didn't really care at that point. Make sure the taxes you're paying, if it's out of state, is legit and it's reciprocity, so you're paying the taxes in your state. Make sure you don't get screwed there. I was really bummed about that. 12 years later, I still remember that. I would never go to those guys ever again. I'm a principal guy when it comes to dealerships. If you screw me once, you never get a second chance. And I wish more people would do this, because if people did this, dealerships that are snaky, they'd have to not be scumbags anymore and treat people respectable. So don't get screwed. Don't allow yourself to get screwed by doing your homework, and never go back to them if they do screw you. Good dealerships are out there, and they're not going to play games. Also, another thing I highly recommend in the negotiating process, if you have to negotiate by doing it in person with a dealership, find another dealership. That's a bunch of bullcrap. It's 2025, and if a dealership is asking you to come in to negotiate, they need to wake up. That's crap. Now, there's a caveat to that. If you're trading a vehicle in and they want to see the vehicle, that's one thing, because they want to get a good analysis to make sure the car is not in bad shape before they give you an offer. With that being said, generally speaking, I've been able to take videos and pictures, email and text them, and it's always worked out, and I've never had a problem. But I can sort of see the confusion of, we need to see the vehicle in person. If they do, make sure you do it in a manner you won't get emotionally connected to the new vehicle. Okay, so you're not trading a vehicle in. You don't need to go sit down and talk to somebody about this. With that being said, if I'm the salesperson and I just get a text message from somebody that says, hey, I need the out-the-door price on a Toyota Tundra, my first thought is, this guy's price shopping and he's really not serious with me. But if the person reached out to me and said, yeah, I'm looking at Toyota Tundras, I see you guys have a TRD Pro in white, I know what rebates I'm at, blah blah blah, can you shoot me over an out-the-door price? He shouldn't have a problem with that. If they do and ask you to come in, I would probably find another dealership. It's a waste of everybody's time to ask someone to come and sit down for something like that. That's ridiculous. Next part of that, get it in writing. Have them email you your offer, text it, get it in writing, because guess what? I've gotten screwed there too. I've actually had things in writing and dealerships still didn't honor it. Once again, it's a dealership I'd never deal with. It's a Ford dealership in Michigan, west of me, about 30 minutes, just shy of Lansing. I'll never forget that. I'll never go to those guys because it was all in writing. I took a day off work to go trade a vehicle in. There were no games. They had videos. They agreed. There was no problems. But when I get there, they didn't have the vehicle. And they said they had the vehicle. And then when they said they could get the vehicle, all of a sudden a pricing change. This is the kind of crap dealers have done to piss people off over the years. And this is why a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth from dealerships. So do the dealerships that watch this channel. I'd highly recommend don't play these games with people, because this is why people don't want dealerships, because they don't find value in the process you provide. Whereas in general, the process I just went through with Mark Dodge down in Louisiana, dude, easy peasy. Maybe 5 minutes worth of texting, max. 5-minute phone call with Aaron and Anthony. We had a deal, and money was sent within 12 hours, and it was like a done deal. It was no back and forth. It was a very easy process. That's how it should be. And there's lots of good dealerships out there that will do that. Lastly, you've agreed to the deal. You and the seller, whether it's a dealership, you want to do this. Before you sign the paperwork that you're taking the vehicle, if you can, this makes it tough when you're buying remote like I just did, go look at the vehicle in person, look it over. Make sure there's nothing weird with the undercarriage, no scratches. Where I had a friend that he watches this channel, bought a brand new Ram 2500 diesel, had the truck a month, found out there's damage on the bottom of the rocker panels, where somewhere along the manufacturing process, this vehicle was lifted up with a forklift or something weird, bizarre. Rocker panels were dented up and rust on them, like bizarre. The dealership made it all right, but he could have caught this before. Kind of look it over, make sure it's not scratched up, make sure fender flares are not scratched, or make sure there's not any weird tears on the interior. Just look the vehicle over really well so you know, yes, I'll accept this vehicle. And if you can, drive the vehicle first. Make sure it drives and rides. After that's all done, hand them the check, sign the paperwork, be on your way. Now I'll tell you the next step of the dealer process that'll separate the good guys from the bad guys. So you've had a great experience with your dealership up to this point that you've purchased it from. It's been a straight shooting deal. You had a problem with your vehicle 2 weeks later. How is that dealer gonna handle that? Are they gonna put this to like an urgent scenario to get you in, get you fixed? Or are they gonna say, I got your money, sucker. Bye, Felicia. Well, the good ones are gonna do the first. They're gonna take care of you. They're gonna get you in a loan, or they're gonna make it right. But you know what the best dealers do? It's when it's 1-2 years down the road. You're still under warranty. How do those dealerships help you? Because that's the dealership then you really know. They really got you dialed in. They really care about you. And in all fairness, I think a lot of dealerships want to do this. They're just dealing with trying to manage 1,000 customers coming in for recalls and all this other jazz. And they got to figure out how to balance a load, keep everybody happy. I get it, it's not easy. With that all being said, the car buying process can be really, really simple if you do your homework up front before you talk to a dealership and give yourself options. Never go look at just one brand and one model of a vehicle, because all your leverage is gone. Give yourself multiple options. Or maybe it's a vehicle, there's a ton of them on dealership lots. You might not need to have another option, and you can just talk to multiple dealers potentially. But generally speaking, if it's brand new, the deals are kind of what the deals are. So I would recommend having multiple vehicles you're open to. And truly disconnect from saying, I just want this one vehicle if you're focused on a deal. And then you can have more leverage to looking across. For me recently, I knew I wanted an RHO. So there really wasn't much option. I wasn't interested in a Raptor R37, Rebel, ZR2. So at that point, I'm just dealing with colors and available dealers, things of that nature. That's your leverage. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to do this because I just recently had a family member tell me how much he can't stand dealing with dealerships, and it just pisses him off. He can't wait. It just makes him super annoyed, and he cannot wait for dealerships to go away. And I told him, you're not using the process the right way. Educate yourself. I said, when you call these dealerships, do you look at their lot online and see what they got available? No. Did you look at other dealerships and see what they had available? No. Did you do a Google search and see what's the best salesperson to work with there? No. Educate yourself, guys. Hey, I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.